Hello and welcome, race fans, to ITSR Twisted Cup Series tonight. It's MW Productions giving you the show at Watkins Glen, the 9-turn racetrack that we're going to have a lot of fun at. It's called Cruisin The Glen, 30, again set for 34 laps at Watkins Glen International. Alongside tonight in the booth with me, Evan Pasoko. Down in the studio hauler is Michael Woolley himself, and us at Michael W Productions welcome you back for another running in the ITSR Twisted Cup Series. Evan, welcome aboard.
Yeah, we're going to be looking forward to this. It's only going to be 34 laps and only local cautions. No full course cautions, which means this race is only going to take about 40 minutes. Now, if we're at an oval, you can pretty much call that a shootout here. It's going to feel a lot longer for these drivers, but that also means that it's going to force them to have to be perfect. You are going to have to come down pit road at least once. So strategy could play more into effect in the outcome of the race than actually being out there and aggressive. You got to survive. It's very easy to find a wall here.
Now, going back to last Tuesday night at Pocono No-Show Pasoko Raceway, Bobby Terrell would end up, little humor there, would end up winning the race, leading 41 laps, Evan. Jose Gonzalez would lead 24. Those two guys put on a show and for the most part dominated that 74 lap race last week. Scott Simley would finish third. LD Sarabia, who would sneak one lap lead in, would finish fourth, and J. Randall Watkins would start 10th and move himself up 5 spots into 5th.
Yeah, Ben Burdett was able to come home 6th after starting in 6th. Stephen Herring, the last car on the lead lap, took home the number 7 spot. Rich Jett took home 8th. John Wilco 9th, and Michael Woolley rounding out the top 10.
And of course, that made some interesting shakeups in the points there. We've got a really close battle coming into tonight's race, with CJ Lavere leading the points just by 2 up on Matt Lacrosse. Jose Gonzalez is just 12 back. Stefan Marinac 14 back, and then you go back to 5th spot where 49 points Brian Harvey has falling somewhat out of contention, if you will. But with that said, we're going to step away, go to the promotional video, come back with your lineup here at Watkins Glen, as well as some track facts here at the Glen. The 9-turn racetrack that once was 13 turns. No more boot here at Watkins Glen. We'll see you in a minute.
New shoes, yeah, I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie, and I don't need a reason why. They come around just as fast as they can, but every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Watch, diamond ring. Well, I ain't missing on a single thing. Conflicts, stick pin. I still I don't know to do you in. They come around just as fast as they can.
Hey, look here, beavers. You better hide your wives, hide your husband, and look here, both of you hide your kids, because we're coming.
But every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Looking sharp, looking for love. They come around in just as fast as they can. But every girl's crazy about a sharp dress man. new shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie, and I don't need a reason why. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl's crazy about it.
Back live here with 30 seconds left to go in qualifying. So far, the man who was the quickest is Stefan Marinac. But before that, again, welcome to tonight's race. ITSR Twisted Cup Series, sponsored by Axio Sanitary Services. Cruisin The Glen 30 here tonight. Set for 34 laps, 9 turns in the Watkins Glen International Speedway. I guess you could somewhat call it. 1:12 is the quickest. A minute 12, that is. The quickest that got Stefan Marinac the pole here tonight, and he will solidify that position and start tonight's race in first. So the 24 car up for him. Hey, almost like a Jeff Gordon type thing there. 7 machine Bobby Terrell, Evan, will roll off second on that first row.
Yeah, Jose Gonzalez is going to qualify in the number 3 spot. His number 26 is going to roll off at the inside of that second row. His time a 1:12.1. So the top 3 drivers in qualifying all besting the top times in the practice session. And alongside Jose is going to be Nathan Little in the 41, starting 4th.
Making up row number 3 will be the 36 machine of Rich Jett with a time of 1:13. John Hensley will roll off 7th.
Terry McEwen into number 51 is going to roll off at 8th position. Douglas Wyatt 9th, and J. Randall Watkins rounds out the top 10.
LD Sarah B in the 11 machine will roll off 11th tonight. 12th will be Luis Rodriguez.
Edison Lima Jr., the 19, will roll off at a number 13 position. 14th, the 62 of John Wilco.
Frank Coombs will roll off 15th tonight in his 48 machine with a 1:25 lap time. CJ Lavere will be the next in line, and as well as Nathan Little. So 17 cars expected to make tonight's race at 34 laps here at the Glen. And a track that, Evan, some may say is just too tough to tame.
Yeah, this is, it's very different, these road courses, and the way, obviously, iRacing is set up. If anybody else runs it, you can go one way. You can go the oval side, or you can go the road side. Typically, if you're going to be doing a race of this kind of style, you're doing the oval kind of stuff. So this can be a big transition. Again, these cup cars really are not designed for these road courses. They do put on a show, and it is a big handful. This is not the first time that we have had a road course. These guys also went racing at Sonoma Raceway, and Justin Wilson was able to take away that victory. However, he is not currently in the field. So the next highest finishing driver from that race, Rich Jett, is here tonight. He's qualified 6th. So see if that 36 car can get something going tonight.
And of course, coming off of a track like Pocono, a 3-turn racetrack, to come here to Watkins Glen and have 6 more added onto you is quite a difference. And next week, of course, we'll be heading off to the Lions football, a hope for the Super Bowl 80 at Michigan. That's set for August 19th. And then August 26th, we'll take you to Tennessee to hold my beer and watch this Bristol Night 150 set for 150 laps. And I want to say that one's going to be under the lights at Bristol, so hopefully we'll see some good night track Tuesday night racing with the ITSR Twisted Cup Series of always on Tuesday nights. And that will round out the second segment out of 3 segments total in this league, as the pace car getting the field up to the grid here. We will go racing. And Evan, taking a look, off into turn 1 here, looking from the pace car view, it's once these guys are green, they get the green flag right here. Going off in that turn 1, that's a tricky turn.
Yeah, this is a racetrack that you can pretty much consider it a natural terrain racetrack. There's a lot of elevation changes. You're going downhill into that first corner, so you got to get on the brakes a little bit more. This place is not flat. And then you kind of head off in a little bit of a chute before the S's, almost a little bit of a downhill. You got up through the S's, down the backstretch to the bus stop. This is really a good race course. It has a lot of variation, but you can see right here as we get rolling that it's downhill into this corner. It can be very easy to overshoot this right here, and there is runoff space, but there are tires not too far away. These rumble strips right there can also be very unforgiving. But one of the most difficult parts that I think we're going to see on the racetrack, and Stefan Marinek knows it very well, he got turned by it about 2-3 times in qualifying alone, is just after that back straightaway, you go through the outer loop and you kind of hit that short little straightaway before the final 2 corners. There's grass right on your left-hand side, and the iRacing sim is very unforgiving, and 2 times the 24 just got his left side tires on the grass and immediately sent him right into the fence. So that could be another part of the racetrack, as long as oldie turns here, that can really bite you here. So it is 34 laps. It is a shorter race length. Time-wise, it is going to feel a lot longer for these drivers, a lot of shifting. So you got to really be on it. There's a lot of ways that you can take yourself out of this one real quick.
Just a quick update here. The number 51 machine going to do it from pit road here at Watkins Glen tonight. Terry Kuhn, or McCowan, or McCowan. There's probably about 15 different ways you can pronounce that, guys. Yeah, McCowan. He's going to start from pit road tonight, and that's quite an interesting strategy, Evan, as you pointed out. The cautions here tonight, not course cautions, but what do you call them?
The local yellows.
Local cautions. That's
and
right,
it really doesn't even act as that in the iRacing. So you can basically call it no cautions. So I don't know how far you're planning on getting from starting on pit road, but who knows what'll happen.
That was my point. If we're not going to see this pace car again, then Terry's really going to have to get, he's really just going to have to go all out here. He was 4th quickest in practice as we get set to take this field of 17 to the green flag. Pace cars down pit road. And the 24 machine, Stefan Marinac, and that 24 will lead us to the green at Watkins Glen, off into 1. Watch them whoa up here, though. Watch them whoa up quick.
A heavy braking zone, the 26, 3 wide behind them for the number 4 spot, but Jose Gonzalez is going to get up into the second spot. The 7, Bobby Terrell, was forced on that outside lane after starting on the outside of the front row, so Gonzalez around him, Terrell back to 3rd. They were 3 wide for 4th. That's another great passing place on this racetrack, is that it's such a heavy braking zone. You can try to drive it in a little bit harder than somebody. 36 of Rich Jett's going to get around the 41 of Nathan Little. 14 of Cheney's going to get around Nathan Little as well. So a little bobble for the 41 car in the S's cost him 2 spots.
Yep, keep your eye out right there on Nathan Little. In the 14 as Josh Cheney is about to get up underneath Rich Jett out of this one corner here. Rich Jett kind of got up into the wall just a little bit, as now the 41 car tries to make a pass on Josh Cheney as these 3 go nearly single file here off in the corner.
Yeah, these guys know that this is their best opportunity to make some passes here, because again, no cautions. You're not going to see our field group up at all, unless something were to happen, maybe with the sim and the race admins were forced to bring out a full course caution, but very unlikely that any sort of technical glitch would happen in that sort. Where the 47, Luis Rodriguez just grew and cut off like 7/10 on a 19 of Edison Lima Jr. for 11th down into corner number 1. So heavy braking zone. Marinac with a second lead over Gonzalez. It's got another second back to Terrell.
Josh Cheney up into the outside wall here off of corner number 1 or 2 here, I believe, as the field is going to get by him. Josh Cheney going from 5th all the way back here to 13th. And now Terry McCoon is now getting by him. So now back to 14th.
Yeah, it was going up through the S's, and he had a little bit of company on his back bumper. Nathan Little was there, and Josh Cheney looks like just overdrove it, and that's that uphill section there. Just get a little bit too much on it, really can't save it, and didn't go around. If he went around, he would have been right in front of the racetrack, could have got absolutely taken out. He is back rolling, however, the left side is destroyed. He finds himself behind Terry McEwen, so he's going to drop back to position number 14 after starting in a top 5 spot.
Another car spinning off the race surface is the 48 machine of Frank Coons. Looks like he's going to get a little bit of grass and spin it off, and the 62 of John Wilco is going to be one of the unlucky ones, and he's going to connect him, hit him right into the driver's side there, and that just happened lap 2 after the S's there, so about turn 3 or 4, however you want to put that. And Evan, I don't know if you saw it, but the 10 car got real lucky. Stephen Herring got real lucky right there.
Yeah, that was going into that outer loop. The 24's off track. The race leader, Stefan Marinac, just overdrove the exit of the bus stop there. Tried to get a little bit too much out of it. He got his left side tires on that curbing and found himself up into the grass, nearly into the tire barrier. And it's a bank, that outer loop there, that big curve there that's on the nearly the far and polar opposite end of the racetrack as the start-finish line is banked a little bit to the inside. So once he gets up on that top, it's flat there, almost dropping away from the racetrack. So the 24 had to try to recover from that, and that's allowed the 26 of Jose Gonzalez to take the point at lap 4.
Yeah, big error on Stefan Marinac's part. As you mentioned, getting in the grass, it doesn't take much. And we can say, oh, this 24 car nearly gets spins it out again. And now Bobby Terrell's going to close in the door. A little bit of trivia here as we early on in the Watkins Glen race, 3 laps down. As of 2010, the most wins belongs to who in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series? Series record holder. Most wins here at the Glen since 2010. Got any idea?
Marcus Ambrose.
I'll give you a hint. Home Depot.
Stewart. No.
Tony Stewart.
Oh,
5
since
wins.
2010?
Since 2010. I couldn't believe it either. Tony Stewart has won here at the Glen 5 times as of 2010. I'll tell you, somebody that's real hot on the tail of him is Jeff Gordon. He's right behind him.
The 48 is way off pace here. He's already a minute back, and actually he's a lap down, and he's been to pit road. John Wilco, who you mentioned got into the side of another driver there in that outer loop, he also came down pit road for repairs. Stephen Harriet, 43 seconds back, has yet to come down pit road. He is the last car on the lead lap, but something definitely not going the way that he was planning. That 10 machine is well behind this field, and trying to see if he found the wall at all. He was able to avoid a spinning car in the outer loop not too long ago, and he actually missed the bus stop one trip down the back straightaway and had to slow down and serve a little bit of a time penalty on that one.
Looking here at the 8th place car, the 5 machine of Douglas Wyatt. He's about as close as you can get to a car here at the Glen. Jade Randall Watkins running that Deuce machine in 7th spot. They're about, I'd say about 15 car lengths apart, maybe 10, somewhere along the lines of that. Pretty close battle, though, when it comes to terms of racing at a road course. Another close battle is between the 36 of Rich Jett, 4th and 5th spot, the 5th spot of Nathan Little. That's about a 3-car gap spread off into one here.
That's that looks like some of the closest guys on the racetrack right now, at least in the top 10. Oh, one car off track, the 19 of Edison Lima Jr. off into the sand trap, and trying to see, looks like the final 2 corners there going into turn 7 or turn 6 there at the end of his lap, and he was able to keep it out of the wall. The sand trap did its job, slowed him down. He's going to get back going once again, but however, he's going to drop to 14th. So any mistakes that you make are going to cost you a handful of spots here, even considering how far this field has spread out in these opening laps.
Yeah, the slightest mistake can cost you dearly, and we've seen it happen between him and the 24 car Stefan Marinac. Although Stefan looks like he has maybe closed the gap just a little bit as he gets safely by his lap. Also, Bobby Carroll has closed in the gap as well. How about this? In 2011, Watkins Glen International Raceway hosted a fish concert, and this was actually the first concert that Watkins Glen held since the Summer Jam back long ago. So only 2 concerts held here at the Glen, and you know, a lot of these big racetracks, Evan, they have stuff like that, concerts inside the middle or whatnot, football stadiums as well, you know, for the halftime shows. No halftime show here tonight, though.
Yeah, no, at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, they have some music carnivals and stuff. They also have Red Bull air races. Not sure what they'd put the concert stage at this track. I mean, half the seating, again, this racetrack, if you look at its statistics, 41,000 people capacity crowd. There's really only a handful of actual bleachers, grandstands, if you want to call them. So a lot of it is, motorhomes or these random figures that you see on the side of the racetrack when you're driving around here that people just stand for the whole race. So those are some dedicated fans out here.
There are. You know, I would hate to be one of the fans that steps in a net bed here or sits in one.
I have not seen any of the spectators that we're seeing on this racetrack sit down at all. So every single person in attendance, they are on their feet.
Well, you have to be able to see over the wall. Hey, one car down on pit road early, and it was the 48 machine of Frank Coons.
Yeah, Rich Jett, the driver of the number 36 machine, was riding around, and he actually crashed, and he wrecked out of this race just last lap 6, the same spot that I think we saw another machine, may have been to 10. Somebody slid off there in corner number 6, the second last one, and plowed the tire barrier, and he's actually off the racetrack. So Rich Jett is out. He has retired from tonight's race. Also, the 48 car of Frank Coons, don't currently see him on the racetrack either. So the 36 and the 48 have fallen victim.
Speaking of victims, remember, folks, Matt LaCrosse is not here tonight. So he is second in the point standings, just 2 points. 2. back from C.J. Lavere, points leader, who currently on the racetrack. C.J. is in 12th. Jose Gonzalez is 12 points back from C.J. Lavere, points leader. Jose Gonzalez currently is leading this racetrack. So as it stands, these guys could be separated only by maybe 1, 2, or maybe even tied if bonus points played into fact here. And of course, Brian Harvey, another driver who is not here tonight. Brian Harvey's 5th in points. Stefan Marinac is here. He's 14 back. He's in 2nd spot. So Jose and Stefan doing what's necessary to attack the points leader, C.J. Lavere, coming into tonight's event, again, with only 3 races remaining at the end of segment 2, tonight included, at the Glen, Michigan, and Bristol 2 weeks from now.
I tell you, Jose, after he got up to the lead here, and it looked like with a 24 of Marinac started this race out front, that he is faster, and he closes in here through that final corner to take the front straightaway as they put lap number 9 in the bag. We're going to see how the scoring updates. Looks like Jose is navigating corner exit better, and Marinac is kind of driving it in a little bit harder. So that gap remains about 1.1 seconds. But when Jose was in second, didn't look as stout as he does right now, and he's in first. I do think Marinac has a better car, but you've said it a couple times that that 24 is just kind of looking for a little bit of consistency. Gets kind of over his head a little bit as to check up, regain control of his race car. Jose is driving his own race. They're going to go around the number 10 car. That's Stephen Herring. Herring going to lose he's going to lose his first lap, so he's no longer the last car in the lead lap. That leaves us with 13 on the lead lap, but our leaders get through without further incident. Marinac, however, is trying to chase them down. Also, Bobby Terrell, the 7, is flying through this field after starting in second and dropped back on the start of the race. He sits third right now, 1.5 back, but he may be putting up a battle with Stefan Marinac for the number 2 position. I know Bobby Terrell has been to victory lane in some road courses in the past.
By the way, that last lap that you mentioned, Jose Gonzalez ran a 1 minute 13 seconds 4.27. Stefan Marinac 1 minute 13 seconds 4.25. So that's about as identical of a lap as you can get here at the Glen. That's pretty impressive. Now it's a little bit quicker lap for Stefan Marinac instead of the 4s. It's a 4.31 for Gonzalez and a 2.37. A minute 13 for both, but that 2.37 is eating up that 4.31, but it's really slow, or it's a slow process of trying to catch him. Bobby Terrell, though, look at this, 1 minute 12 seconds 9.93, so just shy of 1 minute 13 seconds on the board. These guys are closing in. It's a three-way battle for the lead here in the Essex.
Yeah, Nathan Little, the 41 car who sits in position number 4 now, just goes through the bus stop and down through the outer loop. He's in that number 4 spot. He's about 7 seconds back. So the top 3 cars have indeed pulled away. It's Gonzalez, Marinac, and Terrell, and all of them pretty much have an even gap separating those top 3. So for 11 laps, impressive how these top 3 have kind of stayed together, stayed very close to 24 as he's been closing in on Jose. Terrell in the 7 has been closing in on Marinac. So if the top 3 continue to run this close, that last time by they were separated by 1.1 seconds this time by, and scoring is going to cycle through the same thing. So these guys staying very bunched up. If they continue to run like this, fuel strategy when they want to come down pit road for service could actually play into the end of this race. And I mean, you look at tire fall off, it's not crazy. Bobby Terrell, who sits right now 3rd, has only dropped off about half a second to a second since he got fresh tires. And you know, if you're losing that much time at an oval, it's a lot of tire, but a lot of this can be how you're navigating around traffic. So it's not like if you pit earlier, you're going to put down a 2-second lap quicker and really blow the guy's door off that you're trying to beat off. But at the end of the day, there's these top 3 guys, and when they come down pit road, it can dictate the end of this.
Oh boy, it's still kind of a 3-way battle here now. It's kind of closed up to a 2-way battle for the lead. Jose Gonzalez, look at this, half of a car length maybe. You might slip a car in there between those 2. Getting pretty good here as the race laps are winding down. 12 laps have now been completed, edging ever so closely to the halfway century mark here at the Glen. 2 miles, well, 2.43 miles, so nearly 2.5 mile racetrack here. Little overcast, and here comes the pass for the lead with the overcast skies. The 26 machine, Jose Gonzalez, looks like he may have just put the hand out the window and said, go on by, Marinak.
Yeah, Jose came through corner number 1 and got really loose. And he could have forced the issue to try to get back going, but side by side through the S's up here is not the greatest idea. They now exit the bus stop. Marinak back on point. Didn't lose enough time for Bobby Terrell, who sits third to try to capitalize. Terrell's number 7 machine continues to ride in third, but now that that 24 is back up in clean air like he was at the start of the race, we may be able to see him try to pull away from this field. Bobby Terrell could also keep Gonzalez occupied if they battle for a second. That will also help the 24's cause.
One car in the pit here, Luis Rodriguez in 11th spot, taking right side tires. Crew coming around to the left side now, taking left sides on the set 47 machine, so perhaps an unscheduled pit stop, but Lewis is down and away. And Stefan Marinak continues to strengthen his lead. Go ahead.
Yeah, that 47, he came to take lap number 12 and went into the final 2 corners, and there's so many different people that are giving us different numbers. Is it 8 turns? Is it 9 turns or 11? Who knows? But it's a preference. But these final 2 corners where we've seen 2 drivers just sail it right off into the sand trap. 47 did the opposite, and that was Luis Rodriguez. Lap 12 got those left side tires up on the curbing and tried to correct it. Actually got into the tire barriers there, so he's down pit road and now off. So that can also count for his fuel, but not only that, he had to come down to get that left side of his 47 Bacardi Chevrolet fixed because it's still pretty torn up.
And with that said, we're going to go ahead and step away, take our first commercial break here. You're watching the ITSR Twisted Cup Series live coverage. Watkins Glen, Cruisin the Glen 30. Back live here under the green flag. Currently at the Glen, 16 laps have been completed by the leaders at least. And your leader still is and was and not anymore, because that lead now belongs to BT. Here comes Bobby Terrell, the number 7 machine, will pick up the lead quite candidly too, as Stefan Marinak nearly about 2 turns away. And Jose Gonzalez also falling out of contention for the moment, as 3-car Terry McEwen takes over third.
Yeah, Stefan Marinak, the number 24 team, they came down for their fuel stop, took 2 right-side tires, and they were off from that point. So that has been checked off, and Don Jose Gonzalez, not quite the same story. He actually came down, started to put left-side tires on, and something wrong on the 26 car. They've taken it behind the wall. Jose has left the sim. He is done, as well as Frank Coons, who has been off track for a while. The 48, my apologies, is also officially retired from the race. So not sure what happened to Jose. He was running up at the front of the field and came down for his service and never came back, took it behind the wall. So this could play into Bobby Terrell and can make it a 2-horse race. Bobby Terrell versus Stefan Marinak. Marinak taking 2 tires, so we're going to have to see what Terrell does when he comes down for his service.
Let's see here. That 7-car. Okay, 7-car is coming down pit road. I thought he was. 7-car Bobby Terrell, race leader, coming down pit road. He will complete lap 18 and lead at least one more lap here at the Glen as he settles quickly into his pit stop at nearly the end of pit road.
Yeah, Terrell's going to bring his machine down pit road. Now we're going to see left side tires going up on the 7. Marinak only took 2 rights. And it's going to be a 4-tire stop and off for Bobby Terrell. That means that Stefan Marinak, who's already sailed it off up through the S's, the 24 car is going to go to a commanding lead. Terry McEwen, the 51 car, currently sits in position number 2. However, that machine has yet to come down pit road for service. So Marinak going to be opening up a huge lead here after these cycle through.
A battle through the S's between the 2-car of Jay Brenda Watkins in 8th and Terry McEwen, who has now lost somewhat of ground in his Toyota. He was right on the back rear deck lid, though. As Edison Lemon Jr. is just in front of these guys, is off track now, getting back up onto it. Edison Lemon Jr. is in 12th spot as he will avoid pit road this time by and stay out on the racing surface to complete his lap 17 here at the Glen. So far, Evan, 7 are lucky enough to be on the lead lap outside of John Hensley's 55 machine in 7th. Jay Randall Watkins sits in 8th, 1 lap down. The leader, Stefan Marinak, now cycles it back through.
Yeah, so it's surprising. The gap that Marinak is able to pull, 13 seconds, is the difference. So you have to believe that somewhere along the line, the difference between 2 tires and 4 tires is only going to be maybe 6 seconds at tops. So you got to think Terrell must have messed up at some point when he was out there in the lead for that extra lap when Marinak pitted. In order to cause that. 24 getting loose through the outer loop there at the far end of the racetrack. Terry McEwen's now dropped to 3.4 seconds back. You want to talk fresh tires versus old, that distance between, or the gap between Marinak's lap times and McEwen's lap times. So that's 2 tires versus no tires at this point is about 1.5 seconds. The differential between those two. So Terrell, who sits third, is going to probably want to try to chase down that 51. 51's going to have to come down to pit road, so you can pretty much call Bobby Terrell position number 2. But a 51 continues to hold P2 on the racetrack right now. But again, yet to come down to complete that mandatory service that you're going to need to get enough fuel in your machine to make it to the end.
And with that said, Evan, we're looking at over halfway, obviously, at this point, halfway home Again, the race set for 34 laps here at the Watkins Glen. Little interesting fact here for some, wouldn't be for others, but in 2012, October, to name the month, the track suffered damage from Hurricane Sandy, with damages reporting up to just $50,000, just a drop in the bucket to some of the damage that took place when Hurricane Sandy hit. But Watkins Glen suffered ever so slightly $50,000 worth of damage. And how about this? Prior to the 2014 season of this year, the track was clearing out some storage barn around the track property when the original Dunlop Bridge was found. How about that?
This is again, one of the most popular racetracks. There's a lot of different series that race here. Obviously, you have the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the Nationwide Series. You also have the IMSA, the United Sports Car Championship. They have 6 hours of the Glen here. Formula One used to go here back in the 60s, 70s. So this racetrack, a lot of history in Watkins Glen, New York. 41,000 people is the capacity crowd, owned and operated by International Speedway Corporation, and opened in 1956. Was originally called the Watkins Glen Grand Prix Circuit. The track that we are working again is 8 turns officially. You want to call it 9. It's all up to interpretation on that asphalt surface at 2.45 miles.
Checking on things on the track now, currently still 7 drivers on the lead lap. Stefan Marinac first, Terry McEwen second, Bobby Terrell third, Nathan Little fourth, Josh Chaney fifth, John Hensley sixth, and Douglas Wyatt rounding out your top 7. That's nearly almost a lap down. He's being shown 1 minute and 3 seconds back behind the leader. And of course, some drivers off track. Jose Gonzalez, John Wilco has just pulled the plug. Frank Coons, Rich Jett. CJ LaVere is on the racetrack, although 3 laps down, back in 14th.
Yeah, we have 7 cars on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is the 5 of Douglas Wyatt, who's having some major issues there navigating the bus stop. The last time by, the 5 has come down and completed his service. Again, Coons, Gonzalez, and most recently John Wilco exiting tonight's race. The 62 of Wilco was having a solid run, and looks like he had some trouble down the back straightaway. Actually blew up after having a little bit of front end damage. Just blew up and missed the bus stop. It spun out and got into the fence. He retired, obviously, with no engine, and halfway across the track would have been a lengthy tow back to pit road. So he's done. Marinac continues to pull away for the 51 of Terry McEwen. That is the paddle for first and second. However, Bobby Terrell has picked up 3 seconds on Marinac. It's only 10 seconds. That is still a pretty elongated distance, and this time by Marinac just now taking 11 laps to go. So I don't think Terrell's going to be beating him by a second a lap. You don't really have the opportunity to hope for a caution flag to close things up, but it's not uncommon to see somebody make a mistake. It's very possible that race leader Stefan Marinac could make a mistake, and this race could be in the hands of the 51 or the 7. So you really can't get comfortable up at the front, but you can pretty much call this thing that it's the 24 of Stefan Marinac. It's his race to lose at this point. Some trouble up in front of him. Douglas Wyatt, again, having a little bit of issues navigating the bus stop, and looks like Luis Rodriguez also. So somebody's having a lot of issues down there in the bus stop and kicking a bunch of sand up. It's actually going to be Edison Lima Jr. over.
As Stefan Marinac is about to put 10 laps to go on the board, we're going to take another commercial break, bring you back live to the checkered green flag coverage here at Watkins Glen in the IPSR Twisted Cup Series, Cruisin The Glen. Ian Evan and Michael Woolley giving it to you tonight. We're just cruising along as well, taking a back road. Hey, it makes me want to take a back road. See you in a minute.
In a world where survival is the only rule, and feelings have no place, where winning is everything, and weakness is fatal, how much difference can one person make? That depends on the person. In every life, there is a line that cannot be crossed without leaving everything behind, except faith. Once that step is taken, there is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny. There is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny.
Back live here. Leader still out front here at Watkins Glen is that number 24 machine of Stefan Marinac, and Evan Stefan starting from the pole here tonight at Watkins Glen, coming into tonight's race. Just fourth in the points, 14 back from the leader, CJ Levere. He's going to get a big increase of points here after tonight's race if he can keep this up.
Yeah, entering tonight, I mean, even if you exclude the fact that there's a couple drivers that, up there in the championship battle that aren't here, this could easily be considered one of the wild card races, much like a Daytona, a Talladega, a place where you may see somebody else be able to sneak into victory lane. We did go to Daytona earlier in this season number 2, and that was CJ Levere going to victory lane in that race. But again, this one could almost be considered even more of a wild card than that. Marinac is up front, and Bobby Terrell is still stuck at 10 seconds back. The 51 of Terry McEwen, who was running second, did eventually have to come down for that pit stop on the 24-25 lap mark. Came down for service and has cycled back to position number 4. So again, that gap is going to be the one between first and second. 10.2 seconds between Marinac and Bobby Terrell. And closing in on 5 to go. It'll be 5 to go the next time by the start-finish line. 6 to go as Marinac goes through the S's up, and the next lap machine that he will find is going to be at Salama Juniors. There's a fair amount of lap traffic that he's going to have to negotiate here, but Marinac just needs to continue to hit his marks again. He has found that exit of the outer loop very tricky tonight, and has found the wall a couple times in the practice session from catching that grass. So still far from over, but it is definitely in the 24's hands.
Oh, it's definitely, as you said, in the 24 hands tonight. The only thing that is questionable right now, he's got 3 drivers in front of him. Edison Lemon Jr., the 14 of Josh Chaney and Luis Rodriguez again, and he's trying to get around, and he just gets around the 19, no problem there, but 2 more to go there. And plus maintaining his speed to stay out front, as well as hoping that the cars in front of him maintain their speed for the least part to, allow him to get by eventually, but not try to overzealous the issue here. And that's one thing that could lead to a big incident that could crush the 24's aspirations of winning the Watkins Glen here tonight. As CJ Lavera off base in front of him, he kicks up some smoke, but oh, that's not CJ, that's Luis Rodriguez. They got close colors almost. I thought that was CJ Lavera. It was Luis Rodriguez kicking up the dirt.
And CJ off into the runoff. And CJ's actually going to go around at a corner number 1. And CJ obviously not enjoying this road course race. Overdrove that first corner a little bit. Made a little of the third place cars behind him, so I think that's going to look at a road. And just sent that car way too far out, spun it, kept it off the fence, but a lot of guys having a rough outing.
Yeah, let's see. Back and looking up here at front now. Stefan Marinac is about 2 car lengths away from the 6th place car. Josh Chaney is coming off the corner here, number 9 or number 8. Off to the front stretch to complete lap 30. 4 laps to go. 4 fingers in the air by the flagman this time by side off into turn 1 for the most part. Coming off the corner. Oh! Man, he's making it look fascinating, ain't he?
Keeping it entertaining.
For the least bit, keeping it entertaining as a 24 car. Stefan Marinac maintains race lead here at the Glen. 2.5-mile racetrack tonight, 84 degrees. Temperature going down just a little bit as the night increases into the darkness. Tonight, it's Glen. Next Tuesday night, it's the Lions Bowl football, a hope for a Super Bowl 80 at Michigan.
Not happening.
Hold my beer and watch this. Bristol night 150. Bristol, Tennessee. I can't wait to see these cars under the lights at Bristol, and that will wrap up segment number 2, Evan, and then we'll start segment number 3 a week from there.
And then we're starting to close into, overall championship form once you get out of this and into the those closing races, the closing segments.
And we'll definitely keep all that a secret as where the points are shaping up in that when we get when we actually get the numbers to us. But currently, Stefan Marinac is putting a big dent into the CJ Lavera points lead coming into tonight's race. Again, CJ being shown in the number 13 spot. He can't catch no one unless Edison Lemon Jr. goes down another lap. And CJ comes into tonight's event 2 points up on Matt Lacrosse, who is not here. Now, Terry McCoon could be a sub-driver, or John Hensley could be a sub-driver for Matt tonight, but we'll have to wait to see how that ends up. But Jose Gonzalez, another one of those drivers who had a disappointing tonight. 15 spot, 26 car. Jose Gonzalez, 15 laps down. He's 12 back points from CJ. And just getting official word that Matt Lacrosse just isn't here tonight, so no fill-in driver for him. So he's going to lose some devastating points here for missing the Glen.
And especially the fact that we're not only moving forward in the overall season, but the fact that it's towards the end of this segment as well.
Absolutely, yes it is. Stefan Marinac picking up lap number 32. So there'll be there's 2 laps to go right now. Next time by, we'll get the white flag. And Stefan Marinac will take us 2.5 more miles around the Glen here in what seems to be a pretty impressive showcase of talent. Some of these drivers saying, hey, I don't have to have an oval to get around the track. I can get around a 9-corner turn racetrack just as well. Merrimack, by the way, this segment has no wins. In fact, the top 3 drivers are top 4. I'm sorry. Stefan Marinac, Stefan Marinac does not have a win. He has a pole. The top 3 drivers all have a win.
And this thing is coming to a close. White flag is going to be in the air for Stefan Marinac that time by. Terrell has closed it in to 9.4 seconds. Scoring going to cycle through as the 7 crosses the line to take the white flag for him. And the gap on that going to be updated to 9.4 seconds. So Terrell going to come up too short. Marinac, trouble in the S's for Stefan Marinac. Nearly turns it around on the white flag lap. Caught the curbing a little bit and actually brushed up against that the guardrail there through the S's. Keeps it going the right direction, but it's still very easy to lose it.
Yeah, he's just getting the last bit of tread off the tires there. I think he's just using them up, showing what that 24 car is made of, and boy is it stout. Coming around the final corner tonight, he's coming to the checkered flag. Stefan Marinac will win his first race of segment number 2.
Bobby Terrell, the number 7, will cross the stripe. That's going to be a second place result. Nathan Little, third place, nearly spins it out of the final corner. The 41 will survive and take home position number 3. Perry McEwen, 4th. John Hensley, 5th. And the top 5 going to be the only drivers that survive and remain on the lead lap.
So 34 laps had just been completed, and the man, Stefan Marinac, putting on a dominant show here tonight. And of course, Nathan Little running a good race for himself, picking up a 3rd spot tonight in the 41 machine. Nathan Little, congratulations, sir. Got that podium finish. It wasn't easy. The Glen is never easy. You qualified 4th and you finished 3rd.
Well, it was really good night tonight for the pop-up that we're going to get it out tonight. I love these right hands. That was a pretty good night. I hope to look at it.
Absolutely. As always, coming into a road course tonight, Nathan, you never really know what to expect. I mean, you say you like the right-hand turns, and some of these guys would probably disagree with you. C.J. LaVere, Jose Gonzalez, Rich Jeff, Frank Kuhn, some of these guys taking an early exit tonight, all having their troubles. But you, sir, like you mentioned, liking the right-hand turns, it looked like you coming to tonight knowing what was going on.
Yeah, I just raced last night over at Arkansas. Had a little bit of a heads up. Still had to figure it out again tonight. I couldn't get the bus stop all night long. And it'll be all night.
Now, Nathan, sorry about that. Go ahead. Next week, we go to Michigan, so changing some things up. The Lions football, a hope for the Super Bowl 80. Any hope for you to possibly repeat tonight and get a 3rd, 2nd, or maybe get your first win tonight?
Hopefully a win next Tuesday. I love Michigan. It's really become one of my best tracks. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And last but not least, anyone you'd like to thank for tonight's event, Nathan?
I'd like to thank everyone here at IDSR. They got a good thing going on here. Fun guys running around. Competition.
All right, thank you very much. Nathan Little having it for you tonight. 3rd place finish once again for him. And standing by here with Bobby Evan Pasoko. You got a copy?
Yeah, Bobby Terrell, the driver of the number 7 car, is going to come home in position number 2. Bobby, just through that pit cycle, and it was a close battle up the front of the field. You ended up getting caught about 13 seconds back. We know you took 4 tires. What went down there in that middle portion?
I just never dreamed not to take any. I think Stephen said he took 2 in fuel, and I just figured 4 would be better. And I mean, I was catching him, and then got into traffic, and I made a few mistakes myself. So that's the way it goes.
Entering tonight's event, obviously, the different approach that you have to take coming into a road course race, and looking back, these guys have been to one also in this segment number 2. We went to Infineon not too long ago, and Justin Wilson was able to walk away with a victory in that. You were not in that race, and Justin Wilson was not in tonight's race. So, I mean, how confident were you moving into tonight's affair, and what did you expect as a result for you and your team?
Well, I mean, it's a road course. I mean, Stefan's good. I was just, I was a little faster in a few spots than him, and I was hoping just to, stay with him, race with him, try to battle it out at the end. I wasn't sure what I had until we started racing, and we all stayed together there, at the first, and like I said, just the pit stop cost me.
Moving forward in this second segment here, and tonight was the third to last race. Moving forward, we're going to be up there on the very fast, very wide Michigan International Speedway. The Lions football, a hope for a Super Bowl 80 coming up next week. How confident are you into that race?
I haven't turned any laps there, so honestly, I don't know. I don't know what the setup is, and I just have to wait and see.
And definitely, before we let you go, sponsors, shout outs, who makes it happen for you and the number 7 Muscle Milk team?
I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth, MW Productions, for doing this, and then Hippie's Paint Shop for the awesome cars he paints, and then ITSR for putting this on. I mean, couldn't do it without those guys.
Definitely 10-4 to that. Well, congratulations on your top 2 finish, and good luck moving forward here in the season.
Thank you, and congrats to Stephen.
That's going to do it. Bobby Terrell, driver of the number 7 machine, will come home in position number 2. And, Keaton, I think you've caught up in a victory lane with Stefan Marinak.
Yeah, sitting here with Stefan Marinak, who put on quite a show. Stefan, first off, Jose Gonzalez got by you earlier on in the race, and you were able to catch him back up and get by him after maybe a slight wiggle on his part. Talk to us about getting that lead back.
Well, the setup's pretty challenging after a couple laps, and I couldn't be consistent with it. So I messed up, and then he got by, and then he started messing up with the setup too. And I don't know what happened. He finished like 20 laps down, so he must have wrecked after that. But I just tried to keep it consistent, and that's what won us the race.
And of course, also another big thing coming into tonight's event is the fact that the points are so close, Stefan. I mean, taking a look at the points coming into tonight's race, CJ LeVere up in front, 2 up, Jose Gonzalez 12 back, and then you, sir, sitting there 14 points back from the leader, CJ LeVere, with a good strong run like tonight, winning tonight's race and possibly getting those bonus points for leading the most laps. You could be the points leader going into Michigan, and along with that, talk to us about how your hopes and aspirations are at Michigan.
I don't think those points are correct, because I haven't ran a single race this segment, but I like Michigan. I haven't run ITSR in a while. I've been away. It's really good to be back with these guys, and I'm really excited for Michigan.
Absolutely, and as always, last but not least, who makes it happen for that 24 machine?
I just want to thank ITSR and Hippie's Paint Shop, the Meatball Company, Axo Sanitary, and Quick Car Racing Products.
Thank you very much. There you have it, folks. Stefan Marinak picking up another win here tonight at your home track, Evan, Watkins Glen. Evan, last thoughts for tonight?
We had a good race, and it was good to see the top 3. They ran so close together in the opening section of the race. Stefan was able to pull it out there after a little bit of field strategy, tire strategy, taking those 2 right sides as opposed to the 4 from Terrell. So a solid night overall, and obviously going to be looking forward to the high speeds of Michigan coming up.
And there you have it, folks. For me, Evan Pasoko, Michael Woolley, and the MW Productions crew. We'll see you next Tuesday night in Michigan, and 2 weeks away from a very fascinating, fast, short race track at Bristol. Can't wait to see the lights turned on. We'll see you